Reggie, does anything on this list catch your eye?
Government cheese cave.
Government cheese caves.
What the hell is that about?
What is going on? Let's take a look.
Okay. Government cheese caves.
Again, unknown from a mystery
Hero.
write-up over
A
here.
hero. That's what's going on.
Government cheese caves, the Commodity Credit Corporation, topsoil, and the potential end of farming in the U.S.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot going on in that title.
Here? Okay. Some people already know what this is. I have no idea what this is. I know it seems like a lot, but this is a lot. Up front, you need to know this. The government has cheese caves that are controlled by a government corporation. The corporation is a linchpin in keeping the farming market stable. The CCC is part of the USDA and technically has no employees, being more of a concept that the USDA used to achieve broad funding goals. One of these funding goals is conservation of topsoil. Topsoil is eroding at a massive rate and is needed for 95% of our farming. It may be gone in 60 years.
Oh.
I fell down this one. If I asked Reddit, what is the strangest rabbit hole you've ever fallen down? Someone mentioned the secret government cheese caves. Naturally, I immediately started grading. Turns out they're real. Springfield, Missouri? Springfield, Missouri?
Yo,
Missouri?
let's go with it.
I think so.
Did I get it right? Missouri. Yeah, I got it right. Yeah, all right. We all just kind of went,
Americans chat.
I like how the whole couch just tensed up.
Huh?
All right. There's an old limestone mine turned into cold storage facility that warehouses 1.5 billion pounds of cheese for the government. The story is a little odd, but this is where a well-known cheese term comes from. Yeah, government cheese. To start it, I need to back up to the 1940s. I keep using the word government. This is something called the Commodity Credit Corporation, and it is owned by the USDA. Initially starting in Delaware, this company quickly became the main discretionary spending arm of the USDA itself. Weirdest part, there are no employees, only concepts and directives that work through the USDA. And with a spending limit of $30 billion per year to be borrowed from the Treasury, it is the go-to discretionary spending body in the Department of Agriculture. Initially, they offset food prices to keep the market stable. Basically, food would be scarce, so the government would sell the food they bought when there was too much of it to sell. It was a cycle of buy-sell that kept the markets running. Flash forward to the 80s, and Reagan had a problem on his hands. You see, the U.S. was in a downturn economically, and Reagan was a bastard towards people needing help during it, you don't say. That, and he was sitting on billions of pounds of molding cheese that was sitting in a cave in Missouri. Public pressure began to mount, and so he eventually began handing out the often kind of moldy cheese to help Americans.
Oh my God.
This is where the term government cheese comes from. Right. Today, only 333 million pounds of cheese are stored by the government in the caves of Missouri. The rest of the 1.5 billion pounds is owned by private entities. This is not where this ends.
Out of that cheese.
Thinking about that cheese. Chose, even. I started reading about the CCC and what its job is. Did you know that in 2019, something like a third of all farm income came from the CCC and other aid programs? Yes, I did hear that, farm aid and farming in general, like a massive amount of that.
Sustained by this.
Subsidies and such. Most farms are small and struggle to stay afloat. The USDA also uses the CCC charter, which has broad limits in spending to essentially keep America's farming industry from collapsing. Also, I'm remembering a tangent on this one because I remember hearing about this when someone was talking about how there was a movement for a number of black farmers were trying to start their own farms in areas years ago. and were running into problems because, like, essentially the subsidy part of it was almost like redlining specifically with the
but
getting
within
the grant.
farming, yeah,
exactly, and
Okay.
it wasn't like you couldn't go get the land and get the property and start your farm, but it was you couldn't get approved for this process, and that ended up like fucking over a lot of them at the time, or something to that effect. I'm giving a very broad,
vague remembrance. Yeah.
So, but I do remember reading about that, or where I first kind of heard about this. They used the CCC charter, which had broad limits in spending, so as to essentially keep America's farming industry from collapsing, and has been spending more and more each year. Every year now, it hits just below the borrowing limit for the U.S. Treasury. That's trillion?
I think that's over a trillion.
Millions, billions,
billions, trillions.
Oh, it is trillion?
30, yeah. 1,000, million, billion,
okay, 30 trillion.
Trillion. 30 trillion a year to keep our farms alive. Why is spending so much? The great government cheese crisis was averted in the 80s, and the CCC was actually restricted in spending from 2010 to 2017. So what gives? Topsoil and tariffs is what gives. I want to focus on the topsoil. Nearly $3 billion a year in compounding is lost to topsoil erosion, and it's happening fast. 4.7 metric tons are lost from every hectare of farmland a year. The USDA is scrambling to fix this, paying people to reduce rotating their crops and get even. This again is through the CCC charter. Mind you, the CCC passes the borrowing limit set by Congress. If it passes the borrowing limit set by Congress, it ceases functioning. If the topsoil continues to decay at this rate, we will lose agriculture capability within 45 to 60 years. The very organization that once stored over 1 billion pounds of cheese in Missouri caves to save the dairy industry is now one of the USDA's greatest tools in preventing the food system collapse within the US. They only get $30 billion a year to do it. I thought this would be a silly little rabbit hole, but it turns out we are screwed if we can't use the cheddar cheese company and its big daddy USDA to effectively combat topsoil loss. The USDA is researching into alternatives, but it comes down to the money of the agency and the discretionary power of the CCC to stop us from losing our very ability to farm our own land. Cheese caves are one thing, everything else, well, that's newsworthy, I think. Damn.
And I'm sure the current administration is definitely helping with that and doing all it can to make sure this isn't a crisis.
Oh boy.
I like that every problem always ends up being like, so Reagan.
Yeah. Classic.
What a great actor.
Is there I was gonna ask that when we're done. Do we have photos
of the cheese caves?
That's what I was thinking the entire time. I was like, I need to see like a visual.
Good call. CCC is a wild one. Cheese caves. All right. Cheese caves in Missouri. Not in Minecraft. What do we got?
Damn, okay.
That's a lot of cheese.
That's a fuck ton of cheese, bro.
That's a lot of cheese.
That is a lot of cheese.
Also, that is like a lot more cave than I was expecting. Because I was kind of like, oh, they hollowed out a cave and then it's like an actual like a building within. It's like, no, that's just like rock and everything inside.
Okay, so I don't know if this is just brain rot, but I feel like this is a GoldenEye level.
For me,
you gotta break into the cheese caves.
Indiana Jones, let's store this thing here forever.
If you go climb on the box to the left and jump up, you can find the golden gun there.
I'm fucking dude, jumping on these boxes and someone over here setting up proxies and you're fucking bouncing through it. Like,
I kind of missed out on the N60. I played a little bit of GoldenEye, but I was really in on those the GoldenEye, the 007 games after on the GameCube.
Oh, the later ones? No.
I was so in on those ones.
No, I was too late at that point. Yeah.
Cheese finger.
Cheese caves. Can we get a little, like... Anyone walking around in the cheese caves in Missouri? Underground cave in Missouri full of cheese? Not people are talking about it, but... I don't know if we have raw video of it. Oh, here we maybe kind of go.
Oh yeah, I think this is someone that like mounted a GoPro onto their truck.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. It's not loading for some weird reason.
Freaking YouTube.
Google's like, you can't be seeing that. You can't be seeing that, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, they're really hiding this from the people.
well, we got some photos of it.
Government is like, hey, who's looking at our cheesecakes?
Looking at the Canadians.
Don't be looking at our cheesecakes.
These are those cheaters. Those cheaters are trying to cheat us out of our chairs.
Sure. All right, here we go. Let's see.
Down.
This is the entrance to the cave.
The north entrance.
Even this is GoldenEye, dude.
A little bit.
Running from
this
the
is the
outside,
outside.
like a
this is the
single player,
outside
a single
section.
player's like mission in particular.
Oh, this is massive.
Yeah, this is like a huge
It's a complex,
infrastructure.
man.
Yeah.
You think it smells like mold?
I hope not.
Does it just smell like fucking moldy cheese? Okay, well, that's a drive-through of, I guess, the drop-off.
Wow, they didn't even show any
You don't even
cheese.
get to the cheese.
Yeah, they're
itself.
like, that's no. You gotta pay for the Patreon for that.
Yeah, yeah.
So is it craft caves as in like
Craft cheese? I have to imagine like that's such a weird thing
Craft
for it not to be a
Foods
core.
has rented 400,000 square feet of repurposed limestone mine as a massive distribution center. Cool. Velveeta bright barrels of Oscar Mayer meats, Philadelphia cream cheese, Velveeta pasteurized processed cheeses, Jello, and Lunchables.
Okay, it's not the government cheese; it's private cheese.
Well, it did.
Yeah,
They
they
did
said
say
that
there was a
most
part
of
of
it,
it that
yeah.
it's like now part of it is owned
Yes,
by like
true,
private
true, true, true,
entities.
true, true,
So
true.
they must have taken their.
True.
Here's our cave.
That was mentioned. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, no, that's one of those like. Okay, well,
Less
I learned
about the cheese cave and more about agriculture being completely and utterly fucked.
Yeah, I did not expect that from
Yeah.
the cheese caves.
When you're losing all your topsoil and your arable lands, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's gonna.
Why are
bite us
cheese
in the
caves a
ass.
thing anyway? Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
we just went over this
Reagan?
because trickle down, crack in the hood. Duh. Come on.
Come on, keep up, folks.